Hello, little dreamers. Are you ready for a story? Today, we're going to meet a very special friend named Humpty Dumpty. Can you say that with me? Humpty Dumpty, that's right. Humpty Dumpty was a cheerful, round little egg. He was so shiny and white, like a big, beautiful pearl. He loved adventures and exploring new places. One sunny morning, Humpty Dumpty decided he wanted to see the world from a brand new spot. He looked around and saw a big, long, reddish-brown brick wall. Wow, he thought, that wall is so tall. The view from up there must be amazing. So, with a wiggle and a wobble, Humpty Dumpty started his big climb. He was very careful. He placed one little egg foot in front of the other, climbing higher and higher up the wall. Up, up, up he went. The birds cheered him on, singing sweet songs, and the little flowers below waved their petals. Finally, he made it to the very top. He sat right down on the wall, feeling so proud of himself. I did it. He chirped happily. From the top of the wall, Humpty Dumpty could see everything. He saw the green, rolling hills, the fluffy white clouds that looked like cotton candy, and the little houses with their colorful roofs. He waved to the butterflies fluttering by and giggled as a fuzzy caterpillar crawled along a leaf below. He swayed gently in the breeze, singing a happy little song to himself. It was the best seat in the whole wide world. Humpty Dumpty was having so much fun that he started to rock back and forth, keeping time with his song. He rocked to the left and he rocked to the right, but oh dear. He rocked a little too far to one side. Wibble wobble, wibble wobble. Uh-oh. Humpty Dumpty lost his balance. Down, down, down he tumbled like a little white bowling ball. Boink! He landed softly in a big, fluffy bush at the bottom of the wall. The fall surprised him, and his shiny shell got a few little cracks. Oh my! He whispered. I've had a bit of a tumble. It didn't hurt, but he looked a little bit like a puzzle with some of its pieces jiggled apart. He tried to put himself back together, but his little egg arms just couldn't reach all the cracks. Just then, the king who lived in the big castle on the hill was out for a stroll. The king was very kind and always looked after everyone in his kingdom. He saw poor Humpty Dumpty looking a little sad in the bush. "Goodness me," said the king. What happened here? The king knew just what to do. He called for his best helpers. First came all the king's horses. Not just one or two, but a whole team of strong, noble horses with shiny coats. They trotted over and looked at Humpty Dumpty. They tried to gently nudge his shell pieces back together with their soft noses. They were very careful, but their noses were just too big for such a delicate job. They couldn't fix the little cracks. Next, the king called for all his men. A whole troop of the king's finest men marched over, wearing their smart uniforms. They were very clever and good at fixing things. They brought a special toolkit filled with tiny hammers and gentle glue. They worked together, trying their very best to piece Humpty Dumpty's shell back together again. They were so focused and tried with all their might. But even with all their tools and all their skills, the cracks were just too tricky. The king's men couldn't put Humpty Dumpty back together again either. Everyone felt a little bit down. Humpty Dumpty wasn't sad because he was hurt, but because he thought his adventure was over. But then a little girl who was playing nearby saw what was happening. She had a brilliant idea. She ran to her craft box and came back with some colorful, sparkly bandages. They were covered in stars and hearts and rainbows. She gently walked up to Humpty Dumpty and said, "Don't worry, these will help." She carefully placed the bright, cheerful bandages over each of his cracks. One with a yellow star here, one with a blue heart there, and a big rainbow one right across the middle. The bandages held his shell together perfectly. Humpty Dumpty looked in a puddle and saw his reflection. He wasn't just a plain white egg anymore. He was a beautiful, colorful, sparkly egg. He giggled with delight. "I look wonderful," he exclaimed. The cracks were still there underneath, but now they were decorated and special. They told the story of his big adventure and his little tumble. He felt stronger and happier than ever before. The king, his horses, and his men all clapped and cheered. Humpty Dumpty was all patched up and ready for a new adventure. He thanked the little girl for her clever and kind idea. From that day on, Humpty Dumpty was known as the bravest and most colorful egg in the entire kingdom. He still loved sitting on walls, but now he was always extra careful. And he proudly showed off his sparkly bandages to everyone he met, reminding them that even after a little tumble, you can become brighter and more beautiful than before. And so Humpty Dumpty, the wonderfully decorated egg, lived happily and adventurously ever after. The end. I hope you enjoyed our story today. Remember to be brave and kind, just like the little girl. See you next time for another adventure. Bye-bye.